Right now, we're live. We're live.
Who
Thomas,
said,
we're live.
who said fuck it, we'll do it live? Who was that? Like
It was
very
you.
famously. No. Very famously. Hold on. I gotta remember. I'm gonna remember that now.
I don't even know, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to this week's Stars Sit Questions. We are going hard and heavy today in fantasy football discussion. Big shout out to you guys in the group, and big shout out, of course, to youtube.com/fantasy intervention. We have all sorts of fun stuff happening, but the thing that really takes this week by the balls, the thing that grips this week by the balls is the amount of injuries that is occurring across the NFL in combination with the bye weeks. We have 6 different teams on bye. We have injury after injury, just a plethora of them galore.
Can the NFL just not? Like, could they just not with the bye weeks this late in the year?
It's so bizarre.
So fucking stupid. It is so dumb. It's almost unfathomable how dumb it is to have this many teams on bye. And if you look at how many of them are not even in playoff contention, it is amazing to me. They're just sitting down, all the teams that are just out of it already. They're like, get a break, guys. Have fun. Get a nice holiday.
Now, make sure you guys get in your start or sit questions, of course. Put those into the chat so we can get those answered. And make sure you guys go check us out over there at youtube.com/fantasy intervention. If you guys are watching on Facebook, once again, big shout out to Fantasy Football Discussion. I do see those questions coming in. Giovanni, my man, he's always in the chat. Love to see you, man. Love to see you. Love to hear from you. We also have questions coming in from Jamie, so we'll get to those here in 1 second. Before we do, I want to discuss some of these injuries. Thomas, do you have the injuries up yet?
So I have what's been released so far. Now, remember, like a lot of these, they're not actually releasing them yet. So it's something we have to pay very much attention to. But right now we got no inactives for some of these games. Hayden Hurst isn't playing. They have Treylon Burks not playing. I think everyone knew that yesterday.
Yeah,
no real surprises so far. Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, they're not playing. Adoree Jackson's not playing. That's kind of big for the Giants. Again, Cortland Sutton is out today. Other than that, Jacoby Myers is also out. Other than that, nothing. Byron Murphy out in Arizona.
That's huge for a slot.
So is Rondale Moore. So those are probably the big ones for the Cardinals.
That's a big one just because Jacoby. Well, is Jacoby Myers in or is he playing, right?
Jacoby Myers is out.
Oh, he's out. Jeez, who's going to be playing the slot over there for the Patriots? Ooh, that's something to monitor. That could be fun. That could be a combination of different players. I like that one. I'm going to be looking that up throughout the show.
That corner is going to be coming in. Taking more touchdowns from people.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I love that. All right, let's go ahead and hop on to our first question. We have pick one. We have there's a combination. Najee versus Baltimore, Knight versus Buffalo, Homer versus Carolina. So my big thing here is with Knight, we have Michael Carter coming back. The last time Michael Carter played, it was James Robinson saw 13 touches. Michael Carter saw 12. James Robinson was highly ineffective up against Buffalo.
Because he sucks.
I think he put up like 48 yards. Meanwhile, Michael Carter had 12 carries, for 72 yards, and he was highly effective. So do they go back to Michael Carter? I know that Robert Saleh already said that Zonovan Knight or Bam actually showed a lot of juice and that they need him in their lineup. So he's going to get touches, right? Mm-hmm. But how many of his touches get taken away by Michael Carter? And that is a major, major concern for me. For me, I don't love Najee. I don't love the matchup necessarily, but I think you have to go Najee in this one. Where are you sitting?
Well, I would agree because you're going to get most of the touches, you'd assume, but it's gross. Homer versus Carolina is gross as well. Like, it's equally gross because I don't want to trust Travis Homer. I would say Najee, but I'm not happy about it. Either way, with any of these running backs, don't watch the game. Don't watch the box score. Don't watch the game. Just check your lineup halfway through.
Hey, Dave is here. Dave, what's up, man?
What's up, boys? Going Najee as well.
Yeah, I don't think you really have a question in this one. I mean, it's just a tough situation with all three of these running backs.
It's a question only because Bam Knight's like the new hotness, right? But now Michael Carter's back. And I know that there are some smart people like Jacob who hate Michael Carter. They love the new waiver wire ad every week for running backs, and they want to stick with them. But you have to assume it's backed by committee in New York. which is gross in a gross matchup.
All right. Oh my God, Dave, I know that you do injuries as well. Is there any surprising injuries for you this upcoming week?
No, no surprise injuries. Zay Jones is in. Lawrence is in. Barkley is in. The only guy that's officially out is Lamar Jackson. Of note, no news on Kenneth Walker or DJ Dallas, but those guys are doubtful to play. Leonard Fournette doubtful to play.
I don't
All
think you don't play those running backs either. Even if they play, you stay away from them.
What about like J.K. Dobbins? Are you guys interested in
No.
playing him at all?
Oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
have.
was
I imagine we're
Just
gonna
talking
have.
J.K. Dobbins, and I mean it's such a tough week because you have 6 teams out, all that, but people are gonna have tough decisions. Do you play Travis Homer if Kenneth Walker is out? Do you play Travis Homer or J.K. Dobbins?
Oh, I'd play Travis Homer. They
Yeah,
did this once with Dobbins already. Like they did this once.
What about Gus Edwards?
I would rather play Gus. I'd play Gus. Hope for 2 touchdowns. Tyler Huntley in, sure.
All right, let's go ahead and hop onto this question. We got Giovanni in the chat. Man, with so many buys, I'm left with Robert Woods and Noah Fant for my flex spots. Is Bellinger better play than Noah Fant? This is rough, but I probably would go Bellinger over Noah Fant. Do you guys have a different take on this?
I mean, is it PPR? Bellinger had 5 targets, 5 catches for 24 or 5 yards last week. It was pretty gross.
They're both so their schedule adjusted fantasy points against the teams they're playing this week, they're both -1. So they're equally shit matchups. I would play Fant because the offense is better.
The offense is better, but the Giants need Bellinger. They don't have anybody else. Barkley, right? Is Barkley playing? Did that injury come out yet?
Barkley's in.
Okay, he is in.
I don't care about that. Like if they need him or not, they can need him all they want, and they can need him to get 2 catches for 10 yards. It doesn't matter. The matchups are equally bad. Take the more athletic player in the better offense, in my opinion. All you need is Fant to have one big one, and that's it. Bellinger, I love the story coming back after getting his face shattered somehow. The offense is bad. Daniel Jones is bad. Geno Smith's your MVP, at least for fantasy this year, and I'm going to ride with it. Again, equally shitty matchups.
All right. We have Axel in the chat. What's up, Axel, man? Thanks for coming in this week. Choose 2 running backs in a flex. We have Pacheco, Jeff Wilson Jr., Garrett Wilson, Travis Homer. Tough spot with Aaron Jones and Kenneth Walker out. Full PPR, excuse me. For me, you have to go Jeff Wilson Jr. He's locked for me this week. I don't care about his 1 carry last week. He wasn't part of the game plan. He's part of the game plan this week, and I can guarantee it. And Garrett Wilson is probably going to be my flex. Pacheco, I don't love the matchup up against the Broncos, but I think I'm going to go Pacheco. You are over Travis Homer?
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be a good game for him, personally. I think this is the last kind of mid-tier matchup for Pacheco down the stretch. I think the next 2 games are going to be lit for him. I'm playing him in both of the playoff matchups. But Denver versus running backs, Kansas City doesn't have to run the ball. That's not if Denver's we're going to stop you from running it. They could be like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Relying on touchdowns, Travis Homer's getting the bulk of the touches. Who else do they have? Tony Jones?
You know what? Fine. I will go actually Travis Homer. I see that that DJ Dallas is a long shot to play. Carolina's run defense is suspect at best. I'll go Travis Homer on this.
And the matchup, it's a good matchup. 2.3 schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed by Carolina to the rushing running back, and 2.1 to the receiving running back. That's a good matchup. I'm playing that good matchup with all of the snaps.
Yeah, I could take Homer. I could see Homer. All right, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I'll go with the same. Give me the Wilsons and Homer. I do. Pacheco's ironically gotten better every single week, but just don't love the matchup, and I think the other options are good.
You know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick because I actually do have. I was looking at my numbers just now. I forgot I have Garrett Wilson scheduled to have a big bust week. Tre'Davious White has been ramped up over the previous 2 weeks, and in the snaps he's played, he's been very, very good. We also have Jordan Poyer back. So I actually expect Garrett Wilson to be doubled over there by the free safety or bracketed by the free safety and and Tre'Davious White as he ramps back and gets a full workload. I have Garrett Wilson busting this week. I'm going to go with Pacheco, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Travis Homer, and I'm going to fade Garrett Wilson. He killed him. He killed him last time they played, but I don't think that's going to happen again.
I won't do that. I would play Wilson. I would play Garrett Wilson over Isaiah Pacheco easily.
All right. We have Darius Slayton, Greg Dortch, Matt Breida, Tony Jones Jr. at the flex. I'm guessing that they just need one flex position and they're trying to figure out which flex to play. Greg Dortch gets all the targets whenever Rondale Moore misses time. However, we will say that Marquise Brown and DeAndre Hopkins are both healthy, and I think this is the first game that Rondale Moore has missed with both those guys healthy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last week, right? Either way, I don't see Greg Dortch getting a ton of targets. Marquise Brown should fill the role in the short to intermediate area and still see his deep workload. Meanwhile, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. They're probably going to run the ball a bunch. I'm going to go ahead and fade Greg Dortch from this conversation completely. If Saquon Barkley plays, Matt Breida is faded completely. Darius Slayton is more sexy to me than Tony Jones. I think I have to go Darius Slayton in this conversation. Sorry, I'm talking my way through this, guys, but if y'all have a different take, please let me know.
Oh, it's 100% Darius Slayton. I think he's hit 9 or 10 PPR points, like 5 out of 6 games. He's the wide receiver 1 there. Yeah, I'd play him. Granted, again, Daniel Jones and that offense is booty cheeks, but he's been good. He hasn't been bad.
Gator. I'm going with Darius Slayton. It's not for me. It's not even close.
Big shout out to Fantasy Football Discussion. Make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook, of course. Fantasy Football Discussion is the group. You guys can also follow our page, facebook.com/EFFDEE, as in FFD. Make sure you guys go check that out. I know, go check it out over there. Fantasy Football Discussion. Get all of your questions that you can in the chat. I do see we have Amy Nicole in here with the question. Make sure y'all get your questions into the chat, or else it will be a very, very short episode. I guess everybody with these buys and everything are just pretty much sitting on a prayer at this point with the playoffs on the line.
You're kind of just playing who you have to at this point, right? Like that's the way I'm looking at it. Right? Like with so many buys, so many injuries, it's just like I can tell you that I'm looking at I don't know how many different teams, right? That are in my opinion, like really good teams that I'm sitting there being like, oh man, do I really want to play Khalif Raymond this week? You look at your bench and it's like 1 projected point, 2 projected point, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. It's just like, fuck, man.
All right. Do I make this trade? Christian McCaffrey for a mid to late first and a mid to late second.
No.
Wait, what? Replay that.
You mean
Christian McCaffrey, which side?
Well,
do you get the first and the second? Mid to late?
Oh, a first and a second. No, he's a 2-1 player still.
So I'm getting McCaffrey.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, then you send away your late first and your late second for Christian McCaffrey for sure.
That's easy.
All right.
That's easy.
Amy comes in the chat. I need 2 wide receivers, PPR, Allen, Kirk, or Godwin. Matchups make it rough to decide. Thomas, I'm going to let you start on this one.
Oh, I'm a Christian Kirk guy, but the left wide receiver against Tennessee balls out. The slot wide receiver, Tennessee's actually very good at shutting down. So I'm going to remove Christian Kirk from this equation. I'm playing Godwin and Allen. San Francisco's the best defense, but Godwin's this elite, and Allen is the wide receiver 1. And against the Dolphins, it's not a horrific matchup for him either.
It's a great
keeping
the Dolphins are terrible
inside. Yeah, they're the best matchup against our 4 slot receivers.
You have Allen, and then you have to go Godwin. You got to fade Kirk. There's not too much.
I love Christian Kirk. Love Christian Kirk, right? But he's a matchup player. You play him in your matchups.
Is Trevor Lawrence in?
Yes.
Lawrence will be playing. Yeah.
Zay Jones is in as well.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't change anything for me. I was just curious. All right. Let's see. We have Axel in the chat. He said, Geno Smith or Trevor Lawrence. I'm out of the playoffs, but have won the $100 highest score 3 times. I'm shooting for 4th place.
Geno, baby. Geno. Do it.
Or shooting for the 4th one.
Yeah, do it.
Geno.
He's the MVP.
He's got a great fantasy playoff. Does get the Jets, I believe, on the fantasy football championship week. But other than that, he's got a great schedule. Even last weekend, this week.
Yeah, Gino. It's not relatively close for me.
Nope.
Up against the Panthers. All right. Is Dameon Pierce a viable option versus Dallas? No, he is not. Dallas is great at shutting down the running backs. I would not play Dameon Pierce this week. But obviously, it's options. What are your other options?
Yeah, Dameon Pierce or Travis Homer.
Homer.
Dameon Pierce or J.K. Dobbins.
Dameon Pierce probably.
People are sitting there right now going like, that's what I got to do. Like
I'm
tough.
tilting.
It's tough on the streets, man.
I'd probably
they played Dallas. Oh,
Yeah.
Homer then. Yeah, and but not Dobbins. That's the thing. I think Dobbins is a horrific play. They did this
not
once with him.
Dobbins.
Do you think they want J.K. Dobbins to go out there with 10 more carries and tweak his knee again? He's had 2 surgeries on it, and he's played 3 games.
Every time we get practice footage, did anyone see him tackling the dummy?
No.
I missed
Everything
it.
he
Comments were
does
like,
looks-
well, he's out another 4 weeks after that drill.
Well, he looks awkward too.
He couldn't even like get up. Like he tackled the dummy and then he like
So-
struggled to get up. He does not look good. His knee looks like it's got a kink in it.
And then they showed him doing the high knees over the bags, and he looked like me when I was in JV football. He does not look, he looks fast and everything, sure, but he looks stiff and awkward. It's not going to, like, please don't.
Please get in those start or sit questions, guys. We are running out of questions to answer. I understand that a lot of people are out of the playoffs.
Officially active. Okay.
But yeah, we do have some injury news that is still popping in. Thanks a lot, Dave, for updating us with that. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. If not, we're probably going to be hopping out of here in the next 2 minutes.
Like I'm looking, look, there are some really awkward teams that are good this year because this is how messed up fantasy football is. But now I've got to sit here and wonder, do I play Tony Jones or do I play Rondale Moore? Or I can't play Rondale Moore. He's out. I mean, Greg Dortch. Like I got
one for you. Just came in. PPR, Judy or Deonta Foreman?
I'm probably so Deonta Foreman seen like 15 targets on the year. Deonta Foreman makes me nervous because the Seahawks are really bad up against defending pass catching running backs, but they're brutal at defending running backs on the inside. Like I don't want to play running backs up against them who just run the ball, and that's what Deonta Foreman does. I'd probably take Jerry Jeudy in hopes that he sees a decent amount of targets up against the Chiefs this week. With Cortland Sutton out, they only have 2 real options. That's Greg Dortch and Jerry Jeudy. I'm probably taking Jerry Jeudy in this one.
Yeah, I would play Jerry. I think Jerry Judy's at least good, and the matchup isn't in the negative. It's just kind of a meh matchup. So I would play Jeudy. You have to. He is the best receiver on that team, except for Kendall Hinton. Kendall Hinton is the shit.
Dave, do you have a different take on that?
Judy's the best receiver on the team?
No, on Deonta Foreman and Jeudy.
No, I'm going with Judy.
Okay,
I
cool.
think it's against Kansas City. I think that in a PPR setting, you're going to see, they're going to have to trail, and Judy's just going to get garbage time.
All right. Let's see. When I go to optimize, it wants to take off Keenan Allen for Etienne. I also have Mike Williams on the bench. My lineup has Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders, Garrett Wilson. I would not take Keenan Allen out for Etienne. I wouldn't even dream of doing that. Meanwhile, I think Mike Williams is playing the same game. I think Justin Herbert's going to have a massive game this week. I think it's going to be massive. Don't forget, it is the Tua and Herbert matchup. It's going to be sick.
So the Titans are actually susceptible to pass catching running backs, which I actually like. But you're talking about the number 1 receiver coming back healthy, and since coming back healthy has been phenomenal. Like Keenan Allen is 100% back to what we were hoping he was going to be all year. I'm not taking Keenan Allen out the rest of the season. Good
don't
matchup
take Keenan
against
Allen
the slot,
out.
bad matchup against the slot. You play Keenan Allen the rest of the year.
Yeah, the question I think here would be, do you play Etienne over Garrett Wilson or Mike Williams over Garrett Wilson? Etienne, what was frustrating before he got hurt was JaMychal Hasty's involvement in the passing game. ETN was limited to 3 targets, and now he's dealing with a foot thing. So I just don't see him getting enough. Even though it's a good matchup, I don't think he's going to get enough volume in the passing game that Keenan Allen could. I think Keenan Allen's going to eat. And then the question for me would be ETN versus Wilson or Mike Williams.
I'm going to go Mike Williams over ETN and Wilson, to be honest.
I'm not playing Mike Williams this week. You got to be absolutely on crack. You have to be nuts.
I will say, maybe
dude's gonna go out there and warm up. He's gonna be, and now he's out. And then it's DeAndre Carter week. Like he's gonna breathe too heavily and pull his hamstring. Like it's not. No,
I have Mike Williams at 28 or 29 this week. I just don't know if he goes in and plays like a full complement of snap, and he's already kind of a up and down kind of a player. I'll take the other guys over Mike Williams, but Wilson versus ETN is interesting.
So I will put this out there. Trevor Lawrence is, was dealing with an injury all week. So maybe they protect him. Maybe they don't have him run as many RPOs and they work more off the dump off screens, which like Thomas brought up, they are susceptible. The Titans are susceptible to pass catching running backs to an extent. I'm still worried about ETN and his injury as well. I'm going to play Mike Williams. So, all right.
You just love that rush. That you drink 8 Red Bulls as soon as before you get out of bed. You just need that heart pain plus excessive palpitations to play Mike Williams.
I see a red flag and I run to it, man. I see a red flag and I run to it.
Snorting G Fuel, right? just ready to get at it. It's absolutely insane. You're a maniac.
All right. Full PPR. I am a maniac. Full PPR. Miles Sanders or Jeff Wilson Jr. This one is actually interesting to me because the Giants, as long as you continue to pound the rock in the middle, they give up yards. They give up chunk yardage. They give up big plays in the middle. Miles Sanders is interesting to me, but Jeff Wilson Jr., after he played 1 snap last week, I still love him. I still don't think we should hop off the bandwagon. It was not in the game plan for them to run him out there. I think I got to play Miles Sanders on this one.
I'll let Dave go first.
Yeah, I'll take Miles Sanders on this one, and I like how you phrase that, Chase, because I'm not jumping off the Jeff Wilson bandwagon, but Miles Sanders is this is a good matchup and a good offense. So this is not like it's not like we're going, all right, I'm going to put Travis Homer in over Jeff Wilson. Like this is a pretty good player, so I'll take Miles Sanders, even though it is full PPR and doesn't get a ton of work in the receptions.
So neither guy gets a lot of work in the receiving game. That's just not what it is. So as I stalled for time and had time to look up my trusty chart from the Fantasy Points Chart Porn article, which everyone should be reading every week, you look at the matchup for this game, and oh my God, it is a plus 4.1 for schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed versus the Chargers for rushing specific running backs. So if you're saying that, I would say Jeff Wilson Jr. is about the same level as Miles Sanders as a fantasy asset at this point, right? I mean, they're both touchdown dependent. They're both run, not really receivers. Sure. So then you look at Philadelphia's matchup, and it's a plus 1.5 matchup for running backs as a total, and then only a plus 1 point above allowed for rushing specific running backs. Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert should both be played this week. You can get 10 carries out of Jeff Wilson Jr. for 90 yards against the Chargers defense.
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
We have Fame Tiger coming in. Help me. I've lost 2 weeks in a row despite advice. Now I must win over my team ties. Pick 2 wide receivers and a flex. We have Christian Kirk, D-Hop, Amari Cooper with bad Watson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, James
with
Conner,
bad Watson.
All right, so Amari Cooper's out for me this week. It's an away game, and he has a hip injury. So I'm going to go ahead and put Amari Cooper out. D-Hop for me and Keenan Allen are automatically in. So that, for me, leaves the flex position. Are you guys differentiating at all at the wide receiver position?
Bum-ass Wilson Jr.? That's a little harsh, bruh. No, I'm doing the same thing.
D-Hop and Keenan Allen, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got to figure out who we're going to play in the flex. And although I like Connor, I don't love the matchup necessarily. I still think he's going to get his yards and he's going to do fine up against the Patriots. But I don't love that
96
matchup, right?
and 97% like snap shares the last 2 games he played.
Give me Connor.
I'm thinking I would probably go Connor, but I don't hate Jeff Wilson Jr. with that advantageous matchup.
No, I would play Jeff Wilson Jr. or Connor. Like, listen to the matchup. RB total -4, -2.2 for against the rush, and -1.8 versus receiving running backs and schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed for New England. That is disgusting. You can have 97 snaps all you want. If it ends up in 7 points, it doesn't matter. So I would also play Jeff Wilson Jr. over James Conner for sure.
Well, I'm going to eliminate Amari Cooper from discussion. One,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Amari Cooper's out.
He's against the Bengals, and Watson's just figuring it out.
And it's an away game, which is bizarre how Amari Cooper cannot play away games. Like I don't think any kind of splits, where you adjust fantasy points for home versus away matter nearly as much as Ben Roethlisberger back in like 2018 and Amari Cooper. Period.
Well,
the end.
It'd be like Kirk Cousins on prime time versus Amari
Yes,
Cooper
yes.
away. Like,
Yes,
who has
it's
the worst
bizarre.
game?
It's so bizarre. I think Christian Kirk can be in the conversation,
For
but I
sure.
think it's primarily between James Conner and Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to switch. I'm going to go to Jeff Wilson Jr. I still have
Right.
faith in him.
You have to.
All right. QB titty grabber Trevor or MVP Dak. I am going to go
Some of you
with
guys
Dak
are
Prescott. Do
ruthless.
you guys
Yeah.
have a differentiating decision on this one? I'm going to go Dak.
Yeah.
Titty grabber.
I mean, Titty Grabber got it from me. I don't know, man. I might just go Trevor because of that.
Up against the Texans. I mean, dude, they're going to run all over them. They're going to have 300 yards rushing this week.
The Texans is tough because you look at it and think they're going to throw all over them, and then they run for 40 times, and the game is like over by 2:00. And you're like, shit, I shouldn't have played that quarterback because I only had like 13 passes.
Houston is so good against quarterbacks too. Like, it is a weird conundrum where we know the team is bad, but they are tied with Dallas as the worst matchup in fantasy points.
I think
Yeah.
that's just because teams don't have to pass.
Yeah, it's not even that they're like locking people down though.
No,
It's
they
like,
just don't have to pass.
like, and the games are short. Like they just shorten the game up because, like, when you're running the ball, and not only that, the Texans are running the ball. The Texans are down 15. They're running the ball, and so like when you've combined 50 rushing attempts, the game like it's literally
Dave,
over by 3:30.
You swayed me, man. I'm going titty grabber. You swayed me like 100%. I was already tilting a little bit on that one. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence. I do think that Dak Prescott will see a week where he sees, 20 passing attempts for 200 yards, if that.
Zay Jones could have 10 targets for 150
Yeah,
yards.
up against Tennessee. I'm going
The
with Trevor Lawrence.
left wide receiver matchup is really nice. So you're right. I'll play Titty Grabber. Titty Grabber got it.
All right, start one. Travis Homer, Jeff Wilson Jr. or Knight. I'm going with Jeff Wilson Jr.
Agreed.
Dave Wilson. All right. Hi from the UK. What's up, Jamie, man? Standard scoring. Should I start Dak or Geno and start DK or Judy? All right. This is weird. I'm going Geno, and I'm not going to do DK. I'm going to do Judy, I think.
Oh, no. Do the Geno DK. Stack it up, baby. Let's go.
I'm stacking it up, man.
You're stacking it? All right.
Carolina? Yeah.
All
Yeah.
I don't hate DK. I think that's two advantageous matchups. I like DK and Judy. So I'm cool with either one. You can go DK. I don't think you're going to lose.
It's just trusting an absolutely awful offense versus an offense that's been surprisingly good. And if that's the tiebreaker, I want the better offense with the better opportunity to score. Seattle clearly is not that.
All right. We have D-Hop, Allen, and Connor. Oh, for that answer. Okay. Let's see. Standard scoring, one flex. Amari Cooper, Godwin, Metcalf, Pierce, or
Standard
Latavius
scoring.
Murray for standard scoring.
Godwin. Yeah,
Godwin
who's
or
going to score?
Metcalf?
Yeah, who's going to score? Godwin.
Okay, I'll go Godwin. If it was PPR, I'd be like Godwin wheels up, but Metcalf makes it tempting to go over Godwin.
The slot
Just
is
for
a
standard.
good matchup for against San
I know,
Francisco.
yeah, it's a great matchup, but also San Francisco on the outside has been much more porous as of late, ever since they lost Fenner. So I think that you could still go Mike Evans and feel okay with that. But I like Godwin. If it was PPR, I'd be like wheels up. I'm still tempted on Metcalf on that one. Let's go ahead and go to full PPR. Sit one. We have Carter Pacheco, Rashad White Swift. He's leaning Carter. I would not
No.
lean Carter.
No, I would play
Swift.
Swift.
Easy.
Swift.
Don't overthink DeAndre Swift, folks.
Yeah, Kyle, go get Swift. He looked pretty good last week.
Swift came back and was great. And the matchup for Minnesota is a plus 2.9 points over expected.
And he
Or
dominated the
adjusted-
touches as of late.
Yeah, adjusted fantasy points allowed, like the team weakness. It is against pass catching running backs for Minnesota.
Yeah, and his line is like 24.5 for receiving, and he's averaging like 39 and 40. So I think he smashed that over.
Love that. All right, we have, let's see, Juju or Ayuk this week. I am going Juju.
Easy money.
I think that's close. Juju hasn't seen the targets as of late, but they've been working him back from this injury. I think that he sees the full complement this week, and he's going to be in there and rocking it.
Brock, do you want Purdy or do you want Mahomes to be the one determining your
Yeah.
win at the end of the day for similar plays?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
All right.
Don't overthink it.
Let's see. Last time Famed Tigers started, Jeff Wilson Jr. lost me the week. Well, you probably shouldn't have started him up against San Francisco, who's
Well, that's
the
the
most
thing.
dominant run defense we've seen in a long
So,
time.
Tiger, this is the thing. Like every week, you're gonna have like I could have played that guy or I could have played this guy. Or last time I played that guy or this guy. You don't want to be playing sunk cost fantasy football, right? You gotta every once in a while. It's just gonna happen. I've sat quarterbacks for these nobodies. Like I've sat Jared Goff during his 30-point games for Lamar Jackson because everyone says, "Oh, it's Lamar Jackson." Lamar Jackson goes out and scores 15 points, and you're like, "Well, what do I do next week?" Right? You're playing the best matchups to give you the best opportunity. Again,
Devontae Adams this week is a good example. Like,
yeah,
you're not going to sit Devontae Adams, but like last week, he had in their 3-game winning streak, he had 12 targets minimal. He had 6 targets. Jared Goff had 15 yards passing in the second half. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you just have like just bad coaching ruins your process, and so Jeff Wilson had two touches last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 carries, 7 overall carries. Like they just, it just got out of hand.
Real quick, I do want to revisit this one because he actually said sit one, not start one. That was my fault. So let's go back to this. Swift is playing. Pacheco's playing. I'm going to play Pacheco, and I'm probably going to play Carter. I'm not going to play Rashad White up against San Francisco. I'm just not going to do it.
I'm sitting Carter.
Okay.
If it's a full PPR, I want pass catching. Right, like if that's going to be I understand that Bam Knight's going to get the bulk of the touches as you mentioned, but who's going to get the bulk of the receptions? And it's Mike White. So Michael Carter and Breece Hall had games where they had seven targets apiece. It could be the same thing in New York. I want to play Carter. I think Carter's a good player too. He just needs a couple of catches. Pacheco has to score for him to be playable in a PPR format, period. And this is not the week I think that's viable. They could just decide to have Travis Kelce run a quarterback sneak at the 1. Like the problem with depending on the variance of a Kansas City touchdown, it's tough days. I would just rather play the more explosive player that can catch the ball.
Denver's secondary is dominant. I think they're going to run. I think they're going to run this week. I'm playing Pacheco. I like him this week. All right, let's go ahead and hop down to this one.
It makes me nervous because you're very steadfast about that too. And the matchup says no. So I'm wondering if you know something we don't. That's what I'm wondering. So
yeah, I don't really want to play wide receivers up against the or tight ends up against the Broncos. I mean, the slot receiver will do fine, but they're going to run the ball. They're going to generate yards, and Denver's not going to be able to score. So it's going to be a run heavy game. Like you're going to see rushing attempts at the tail end of the game. It's going to be a very slow moving game. And I don't see it hitting the over, by the way. All right. We need one full PPR for net. I'm guessing that is McKenzie, Dobbins, James Cook. I like James Cook this week. I also like Isaiah McKenzie a lot this week. I love Isaiah McKenzie this week. I love him. I'm in love with Isaiah McKenzie, but James Cook is going to have to see targets. Last week we saw a recipe for how to beat the Jets.
Harrison Smith is out for Minnesota.
That's a pretty big play.
That's
so for the Vikings pretty much laid it out as to how to beat the Jets, right? We use these short to intermediate targets, these routes, and we let the receivers try to create yards after the catch. I think that the Bills do that with Isaiah McKenzie, and I think they also do that with James Cook, who should see at least minimum 6 to 8 targets, somewhere in that range. In full PPR, I think that James Cook has more likelihood of getting a touchdown, which is big, and probably sees about 75% of the receptions that McKenzie sees. Meanwhile, he also gets touches on the ground. I'm going James Cook this week.
Oh my God, Zach Wilson's inactive. Oh my God. Yeah, I'd take James Cook probably, honestly.
That's who I'm going.
That net, come on, Kyles.
For me, honestly, it's not. This one isn't even close. Like I like McKenzie. Love. I gotta save that for some other people. McKenzie, I don't know. James Cook for me. He got 20 touches last week. Singletary looks like he's been carrying the load all season, and James Cook's got fresh legs. So I like Cook a lot.
I'll be interested to see is the first time that Cook out-snapped Singletary, and I'm wondering if it was based on the short week. So I'm very Jesus Christ. Get a cup, Chase. You're an absolute degenerate. Like
I actually have one right here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I looked away for a second. I thought he was slugging whiskey or something.
Oh my gosh.
No. I went out and went hard last night for a friend's birthday. So
I'm surprised you're not drinking Four Loko with how absolutely nuts you've been all day. But I'm interested to see if the running back touches shift back again, regardless of how good Cook was, because again, it was a short week game for Buffalo.
And by the way, Devin Singletary still got the touches inside the 5. So
correct.
He's still the goal line back. So if they get close, we could see Singletary take that. I like Singletary and James Cook this week, to be honest. I'm playing both them in about 20% of my lineups combined, but one will be about 10%, the other will be about 10%. So I'm mixing those up in DFS. All right. We have Josh Allen in the rain, win/no, versus New York Jets, or Jared Goff versus Minnesota. And I think this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going Jared Goff. I think this game's going to be the highest scoring game on the slate.
Yeah, I'm playing Jared Goff, especially with Harrison Smith out. Yeah, absolutely.
Dave?
I'm not sitting Josh Allen over Jared Goff.
I think he's going to get rushing attempts. I just don't think there's as big of a ceiling for Jared Goff. Jared Goff could be the QB1 on the week after.
And we just mentioned, who the goal line back is, and you didn't say Josh Allen. Josh Allen is. I mean, I'm just picturing Josh Allen flexing in the snow after just trucking people and going in, or just doing like just Jordan style. Josh Allen's gonna run one in today.
Yeah, he'll run one in, but don't forget like what he did up against the Jets 5 weeks ago, where he had 2 interceptions, 200 yards. Like he wasn't good, and this is even worse conditions. I
like Goff this week too. I had to look at my rankings. I think I have them both in the top 8.
The answer to this question is to play in more super flex leagues.
All right. Also, is it crazy to go Cousins over Murray this week? No, it's not crazy.
Chase, he was the QB3 on the week when they played the Jets last time. So I don't know what drugs you're smoking. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a couple turnovers, but unless
he had 26.8 points in that game. So
it's a low scoring week for quarterbacks.
I'm playing Josh Allen. It was 26.8 points, Chase.
That's not great.
Holy. Great show, everybody. Have a good week. It's not great. It's not great. Oh, he only had 26 points, guys. Nah, he's ass now.
Oh, because he ran 2 touchdowns in. He's not going to get 2 rushing touchdowns again.
Okay. So Justin Fields last week was a smash play, right? All he did was run 1 touchdown in from 70 yards out, and that was his week. And he was doggy for the rest of the game.
No, stop.
He had 21 points. How can you say that's a great game when he only rushed 1 in? Yeah, Josh Allen rushed 2 in. There you go. I just don't understand. You're hype about it one week, and the next week it's a downgrade.
Whoa. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, rushing touchdowns. He hasn't. I think he's had 3 rushing touchdowns on the season.
4.
He's had 4. Okay, he's had 4 rushing touchdowns on the season. He had 2 of them in 1 game. That's not going to happen again. All right, let's move on to this one.
I will
Murray.
I will hot sauce bet you Josh Allen versus Kirk Cousins this week.
No, it's Jared Goff.
Same shit.
No, I'm not doing that hot sauce bet again. Not
Come on, don't be a coward.
Not that early in the morning. I'll do a different bet with you, but we'll talk about it off the show. I'll do a bet with you, but we're not going to do the hot sauce bet. I don't want to bore everybody listening. Let's answer these questions. We got Cousins over Murray. Is that crazy? Or does that make sense for me? I think that's normal. I mean, you got the Detroit Lions. I still think that, by the way, Dalvin Cook is going to be a major factor in the rushing game in this one. He's my bet to go in DFS to get away from the Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins stacks. However, I still think that Kirk Cousins is going to put up points. Murray has been sketch at best this season. And although he has his 2 wide receivers healthy, finally, it still makes me nervous up against the Patriots. Where are you guys sitting on this one? Dave?
I have Cousins 2 spot higher.
All right,
No,
Thomas?
I can't do that. I'm playing Arizona. Detroit's been so much better since they fired their secondary coordinator that
They
it's
have.
the splits. If you just look at the splits, the matchup is not good. And Kirk Cousins in non-plus matchups is hilarious.
It is
Yeah,
pretty funny.
I have an 8 and 10. I got Cousins at 8 and Murray at 10.
It's not really a huge difference. For me, it's just all rushing. I get the Bill Belichick defense and stuff, but against rushing quarterbacks, he's been historically bad. So if you want to play the narrative game, I'll take the narrative.
All right. Need a second string running back, Hubbard or J.K. Dobbins? Okay, this is where J.K. Dobbins gets interesting. We still have D'Onta Foreman playing this week, right? Like he's still in. He's still going to get the touches, but Hubbard is in a situation where if he gets breakaway run up against Carolina Panthers, which is more than likely to happen.
Against the
I'm
Panthers.
sorry, up against the Seahawks. I apologize. Up against Seahawks, a reception for a long gain, something along those lines where he's used on the outside like he is used. I think that Hubbard has a bigger chance to put up points than J.K. Dobbins does. I'm going to go Hubbard over Dobbins.
The matchup across the board is better for Hubbard. So if Hubbard gets 4 receptions and 7 carries against Dobbins getting no receptions because it's Baltimore, like don't play J.K. Dobbins this week. Like for the health of your sanity, don't do it.
There's no other options. That's my question.
There's no other options. Fabian, if you can get us another option, let us know. All right, we have start Diggs or against the Jets or Keenan versus Miami. No, you're going Keenan Allen for me. Do you guys have any differentiating opinions on that?
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I mean,
Sauce has been really good.
Yeah, Sauce has been good, but
Diggs put up 93 yards against them the last time they played.
And he doesn't always shadow like Jefferson had that big touchdown last week. It was not against Sauce. It was against DJ Reed. So,
no, they don't shadow. I don't think Sauce shadows. I think they stick to their sides.
Yeah. So, I'll go with Keenan Allen with the weather. He's been so good. But I'd have to. Yeah, they're both top 7 plays. I mean, you don't sit Diggs.
You don't sit Diggs, but you said sit Diggs.
I mean, like if you're sitting Diggs, your team is really good.
Yeah. If you have anybody else, Xavier, in terms of this, let us know. But I mean, no. I'm going Keenan Allen over Diggs this week.
Like, who are you starting over? If you have both these guys, like, who are you starting over Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen?
Like I would play Diggs because I think their floor is the same, right? So if you remember in that game, that was when Diggs was pissed that his targets weren't there. Then they were like, all right. And they forced it to him. And all of his fantasy points came after that. They'll find a way to get Diggs the ball. Like the Chargers will find a way to get Allen the ball. Who's has the most opportunity to have the biggest game? That's Stephon Diggs, in my opinion. No, so I think they could end with the same. They can both end up with 10 targets.
Miami's game, like this could be, they could hit 60 points. It could be 31-28 at the end of the day with 4 touchdowns, and Keenan Allen could have 2 of them. Like, what's the
Carter
outcome for the
2 of them? Like I would just play Stephon Diggs. They can end up with the same outcome. I want the better player.
Okay, all right. I asked earlier in the week, y'all had Okonkwo over Hunter Henry's matchup with Tennessee. Are the thoughts still the same with this? All right. I think that we were debating Okonkwo over or Hunter Henry because Hunter Henry has a great matchup up against Arizona. It's one of the best matchups you could have. And so I think Jacob was taking Hunter Henry, and I loved Okonkwo. Like Okonkwo for me is a major boom play because every touch that he gets, he takes it for like 30 yards. I mean, I've compared Noah Fant, right? Noah Fant in his rookie year ended up having 34.5% of his yards come on 3 plays or 3 receptions, right? He had 40 receptions on the season. 3 of his receptions accounted for 34% of his yards. Okonkwo is doing what Noah Fant did, but he's doing it on every single time that he gets a touch. And his snap share has gone through the roof. I'm sorry. Yeah. I personally think that Okonkwo is going to dwarf the other tight end snaps, right? Did I just completely get sidetracked on that?
Yes.
I am
You
so
went
sorry.
on a complete. You went on a. You're again sailing.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
was off on that one. My bad, guys. I still think that Okonkwo is going to have this superior matchup in this one. I'm going Okonkwo.
I think it sucks either way, but I would also go Okonkwo. No, no.
I'm
Traylon
going
Burks,
Henry.
right?
I like Okonkwo, and I think his receiving prop is like 29 yards. I think it moved up to 32. It's super nice. I mean, it's definitely a good prop to go over. But Hunter Henry gets the matchup. Arizona and Seattle, you want to play, or the Rams, you want to play your tight ends against all those teams. Give me Henry with no Jacoby Myers.
But Hunter Henry still only has 25 catches on the year, so it's not like you're like banking on
No.
like a really good-esque player.
For sure, Okonkwo he's the new hotness.
It could be Jonnu Smith for like no reason.
Yeah, I like Okonkwo, and without Traylon Burks, by the way, I think that we're going to have to see these guys pass, and I just think that Okonkwo gives you everything that you want. He's seen the snaps that you want. He's seen the big plays. The only thing he hasn't seen is the touchdowns, which I think will come this week.
I got one. PPR, we got DJ Chark or Gus Edwards.
Chark. I'm not even gonna think about it.
Wait, say that one more time.
PPR, it's. I knew you guys were gonna take Dobbins out. So Gus Edwards or DJ Chark.
Chark.
PPR.
I love Chark this week.
Yeah.
Or and Slayton. Pick 2.
And Slayton. I'm going Slayton and Chark.
Chark and Slayton for sure. Avoid the Baltimore running backs, folks, please.
All right, Evan Ingram or Njoku, full PPR. This week is interesting for Evan Ingram. It really is. Meanwhile, Njoku has somewhat of a tough matchup. I'm going to go Evan Ingram up until I see Deshaun Watson using the tight end. Deshaun Watson never uses the tight end. Like he never did. Like he would get an occasional touchdown or two to them, like on play action fakes and stuff like that when they were wide open in the end zone. But typically Deshaun Watson, whenever he utilizes the tight end in the red zone, he uses them as a decoy to take that middle linebacker or the safety off, so and then he can scramble in and he can run the ball into the red zone. He does a little pump fake to open up that gap and to force coverage over to the tight end. He normally does not pass them. Up until I see Deshaun Watson using the tight end, I'm going Evan Ingram.
And the matchup's bad. The matchup for Cincinnati is bad. I would play Ingram.
Their safeties are really good up against tight ends.
It's like, yeah. Bates is phenomenal. They have to give him all the money he wants.
Roger, thanks for tuning in. If you guys wanted to go check us out over there on YouTube, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. Once again, that's youtube.com/fantasy intervention. Go check us out over there on YouTube. Turn on the alerts so that you get a notification every time we go live, Wednesdays and Sundays.
I gotta sit Swift. Did I just see that at the bottom? No, you don't. You super don't have to sit Swift.
All right. So
you super don't.
Njoku or Everett, Bills D or KCD. This one's tougher for me. I'm going to go Everett slightly, but I don't love that one. And then I'm going to go with the Bills defense over Kansas City. Actually, you know what? I might take Kansas City
defense versus Denver.
Yeah, because you're going to see the turnovers. It could end up leading to touchdowns. Denver's probably going to have to pass a ton, which is going to create opportunities for sacks. I see the same thing happening for the Bills. You know what? God, this is so tough. If you need upside, go KC defense. If you just need a floor, go the Bills defense.
According to Mike Clay, Adam Schefter says he expects the Seahawks to start Tony Jones Jr., not Travis Homer.
That's so bizarre.
I still think they pass the ball and Travis Homer gets the passing game work, but it is messy.
That's disgusting. They like that type of running back, though. They like the Tony Jones Jr.'s of the world.
Yeah, they had Alex Collins, those kind of guys. Like,
they
but Tony Jones did not do a lot with his work last week, and he's not going to be as involved in the passing game. I think
I'm not starting Tony Jones at all.
No.
I think starting Tony Jones
makes you less confident in Homer, but I still think in your PPR formats that Homer's a flex play.
All right. Do you guys have a difference of opinion on this? Are you guys going in Njoku?
I got Everett in Kansas City.
Okay, cool.
Bill's D's been banged up. They're getting healthier, but like they haven't been as good of a fantasy defense as we thought.
All right, get your questions in. We got about 5 minutes left, guys. We have Jose coming in. What's up, Jose? Man, it's been a minute. I feel like we have Brady, Cousins, or Goff on this one. I'm going with Goff, just because I think that Cousins or Dalvin Cook gets involved in the running game a little bit more. So that's going to take passes away from Cousins. Brady, meanwhile, it's a good matchup up against San Francisco, but I got to go Goff. I think Goff is going to see a massive game this week. He has a chance to be I think he's going to finish as a top 10 quarterback easily. He could see top 5 pretty likely, and then he has a chance. There's a chance he finishes as QB1.
Yeah, I'm playing Goff this week. Yeah,
Dave.
It's between Goff and Cousins for me. I'll go Goff.
All right. So Xavier comes in. It says it's a unique setup. I drafted / traded well. Diggs, Chase, Keenan, Swift, Pollard. Gotta sit 1. This is earlier to the question we were talking about, where you have, like you guys were discussing, what other players does he have that he would want to sit, either Diggs or Allen, because obviously he's playing Chase. You got to play Pollard. You got to play Swift. I might sit Diggs in this one, and I'm not even kidding you, just because of how nasty that weather situation is. And let me keep in mind, like, Josh Allen plays well in the snow. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the snow. You guys remember last year when the Patriots attempted like 3 passes in a game up against the Bills? That they might have only attempted 1. I think it was like they attempted 3 passes and they just ran the ball down the Bills' throat like the best that they could because the weather was so bad. Josh Allen still had an okay game in what was essentially like a hurricane, like a snowstorm up there for the last time. So I still think that Josh Allen has a decent game. I just don't know if it comes at the expense of Diggs in terms of the rushing upside and what they do in the run game. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game. I think that you would sit Diggs over Pollard. You would sit Diggs over Swift. You'd sit Diggs over Keenan Allen and Jamar Chase.
Sure. I'll take your word for it. That's too tough for me, man. That's a brutal one.
Yeah, you're
all good options, by the way.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be wrong with whoever you pick because you got a 1 in 6 chance because all 6 of these guys are guys you want to play. So you're one of these guys is gonna have a better week than the other guys. It's all gonna. I think they're all gonna be good plays. So you're not gonna. I think you're gonna be kicking yourself at the end of the day.
All right. Context for the first. That's just the same thing. All right. Let's see. I think that's about it for our questions, guys. Real quick, let's go ahead and get out of here. If you guys want to go check out any of us over there on Twitter, you guys can go follow Thomas over there at Thomas Tipple FF. You guys can go follow Dave over there on Twitter at Dynasty Dorks. Make sure you guys go check out Trophy Smack. You can see Thomas pointing to the belt over there. You see the trophy and the belt over my corner. Oh, look, he's wearing a shirt. Oh my God. And the ring back there behind Thomas. You can see my rings. You can see my trophies. You can see my belt. I have another belt right here on the floor. If you guys purchase a trophy or a belt for your fantasy leagues and you guys use promo code CIRCLE, you will actually receive a free ring along with the purchase of a belt or a trophy. Just make sure the ring is in your cart. Use promo code CIRCLE, right? And you will get a free ring along with the purchase of a trophy or a belt as long as both are in your cart. Go check it out over there at trophysmack.com. Once again, that's trophysmack.com. Use promo code CIRCLE and you will get a free ring or a free belt.
My eyes are up here, Axel. Michael F. Florio was talking about the Travis Homer situation. He says Travis Homer is getting hype. It reports now that Tony Jones Jr. could lead the backfield. Both are flex options. Jones has TD upside. Homer the passing game usage. Slightly leans Jones because of the matchup, but he would play Bam Knight, James Cook, the Dolphins running backs, amongst others, above them. So flex options at best.
Love that, man. Love that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys once again for coming in. We will see you guys next Sunday at 11:30. Oh, man. We'll talk to you guys later. Get out of here, Axel. I'll see you in the comments.